How does the doctrine of double effect relate to just war theory? Have you ever wondered how moral decisions are made during war? The doctrine of double effect plays a significant role in this discussion. This principle helps us understand when it is acceptable to perform an action that has both a positive and a negative outcome. It states that an action can be morally acceptable if the harmful effect is not intended, even if it is anticipated. However, certain conditions must be met for this to apply. First, the action itself must be morally good or at least neutral. Second, the good outcome cannot be achieved by causing the harmful effect. Third, the intention behind the action must be solely to achieve the good effect. Lastly, there must be a proportionate reason to allow the harmful effect to occur. Now let's connect this to just war theory. This framework evaluates when it is justifiable to go to war and how wars should be conducted. It emphasizes principles like legitimate authority, just cause, proportionality, and the distinction between combatants and non-combatants. The doctrine of double effect is particularly relevant when considering actions taken during warfare. For instance, military operations aimed at defeating an enemy may unintentionally harm civilians. According to the doctrine of double effect, such collateral damage might be morally permissible if certain criteria are satisfied. The harm to civilians must not be intended as a means to achieve military objectives. The military action itself must also be morally permissible, and the good effect, like achieving military goals, must be proportionate to the harm caused. Additionally, all reasonable precautions should be taken to minimize civilian harm. In practical terms, this means that just war theory can use the doctrine of double effect to justify some military actions that may have negative side effects. For example, if a military installation is bombed and civilian casualties occur, this may be considered acceptable if the civilian harm was unintended, proportionate, and not the means to achieve the military objective. However, the relationship between these two concepts is complex and often debated. Critics argue that the doctrine of double effect can be misused to justify civilian casualties as mere side effects. This raises concerns about moral responsibility in warfare. The challenge lies in distinguishing between intended harm and unintended but foreseen harm. It is essential to ensure that this principle is not exploited to excuse excessive or reckless violence. In summary, the doctrine of double effect serves as an important ethical tool within just war theory. It helps assess when harm caused during war is morally permissible, balancing the pursuit of just military objectives with the need to avoid intentional harm to innocent people.